In 2003, a small American town became the backdrop for a chilling tale that would haunt its residents for years. It all began innocently enough, with friendly neighbors and close-knit gatherings. But behind the camaraderie and warmth lay a darker narrative centered around a troubled man named John and a mysterious, tragic event that shook everyone to their core. This is the story of how one man's actions led to a series of eerie occurrences that blurred the line between reality and the supernatural.
It happened in 2003. At that time we were living in a small town with my uncle. Our neighbors were friendly and kind-hearted people. We were particularly close with a woman named Catherine. She had 2 sons, one 17 and the other 22. We often gathered with a good company, sitting around a large table in the yard, chatting and having fun late into the night. Catherine's husband John was a real drunk and troublemaker. Almost every day he would come home completely wasted. If we were lucky, he'd just pass out, but often he'd cause such a ruckus that the whole street would have to come to calm him down. He did odd jobs here and there, mostly to fund his drinking. He never brought any money home, but luckily Catherine's oldest son had a job and could support the family. One day John got drunk as usual, had a fight with the neighbors, and took off in his old car, despite Catherine's desperate pleas for him to stay. We all worried he'd cause trouble or hurt someone. Our worst fears were confirmed. That evening, a man brought back John's car with a tractor, and John was passed out inside. Turned out he had sped down the street, veered into a ditch, and before that, hit an old lady who lived by the river near the cemetery. He didn't even realize what he'd done until the next day, and even then he showed no remorse. He continued drinking, getting so wasted at her funeral that he had to be taken home on a cart. One evening, as we were having another gathering, John burst in, screaming that the old lady he hit had risen from her grave and was coming after him. Naturally, no one believed him, and we told him to get lost or we'd have him committed. We kept on with our evening, but soon heard a horrifying scream from the street. John came running towards us, shouting, "Do what you want, but I'm out to here. That old witch won't leave me alone." He ran off into the fields. We thought about going after him, but decided to let him tire himself out and come back on his own. The next morning, the town chairman came by and told us they had found John's body in a field near the lake. We all rushed there and found him dead, with a look of sheer terror on his face, his eyes wide open, and his fists clenched so tightly they couldn't be pried open. The doctors said he died of a heart attack. We buried John and life moved on. Yet sometimes I wonder, was it just the alcohol that killed him? Could it have been a hallucination from delirium tremens? The doctors said the alcohol had left his system before he died, so the rational explanation raises as many questions as the supernatural one. Could it be that the spirit of the old lady really came back to punish him?